Hello. Right. It's been a wacky old few days since the last report. Things have definitely turned. I finally, due to a accident by Barking Dagenham Council, have got a string of emails which not only confirm I am being treated vexatiously, they also confirm other restrictions that are being placed on me also. Well, to misquote one of my most liked movies, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. For years I've even paid the council to get the evidence because I know it's there, and they've ignored my repeated requests, SAR requests that are paid for, and I've got full documentary evidence which I'm just going through now. It will take a few days. It's going to be a multi-pronged attack, let's put it this way. Now I've got fire in my belly, no one is safe. I will have to consider my position and see what my next moves will be. And it will be several moves, it won't just be one. I mean, a great example of how they are ignoring me is I contacted Christopher Marchant today regarding a couple of questions. One concerning Steve, my social worker. Don't know another name for him. I think he's my social worker. He obviously doesn't read what he's sending me. He got me into a panic, an anxiety attack for 90 minutes this morning when he emailed me a copy of a hospital letter which apparently I hadn't responded to, according to him. Well, after I responded to it, contacted Barking Hospital and spoke to Kim, very nice woman, but how many times am I going to have to apologise for the council in my life? They'd got the information totally wrong. I'm not saying any more on this because I've raised it up. It is quite apparent. In my normal mind, I would have just ignored it because it is so apparent. I would have spotted it. But because I'm not on my normal mind, I didn't spot it straight away. Kim had to tell me. They give them eyes, but they cannot see. And nor can the council when it comes to me. I asked two simple questions and I got neither of them answered, and something like 6 or 7 paragraph email explaining what his team are doing, how much time they're putting into me, and how many valuable resources are being taken up because of me. Basically saying, oh, you're wasting so much council time, Mr. Gibbons. You are a naughty boy. Really, Christopher? I mean, I am being so helpful and I'm trying to calm this down, but every time I try to calm it down, they just ignore me. Fiona Taylor, for instance. I have emailed her directly a couple of times now. She's ignoring it. Regarding the discrimination and the vexatiousness, she is supposed to be under the Act, the 1989 Act, which gave her powers, gave her a job, and which is still incorrectly listed on Barking Dagenham website. And I've contacted London councils and they're going to look into that and advise the council, because I told them I've advised them and then they're ignoring me. Basically everyone's got until noon tomorrow. I've issued another request to Christopher, who totally ignored my first one, and asked him outright, are you refusing to answer the questions? If I receive no response by noon today now, the 14th of December 2017, then I will correctly assume that he is not taking any further action. Everything is being logged, Everything is being noted. Everything is being recorded. And all my paperwork I'm going through. They are making a sick person go through hell. And they are going to pay for it this time. So let's see who has to fight for it. Because I've been putting up with this for 24 years. I've asked nicely. I mean, classically, the vexatiousness policy they have, Section 4 actually states that they are supposed to deal with it making allowances for any illness or health problems. Really? Didn't seem to. They put me on a vexatious list 4 years ago. I asked for evidence 2 years ago and 6 years ago, and ever since when I got diagnosed with Asperger's, I've been informing the council. Whether they've got it on their record at that time, I don't care. I've got evidence to say I've notified the council. It's up to them what they do with it. So, let's see what the next few days bring. Because the tide has now turned. I have direct evidence. They've been withholding the evidence for 2 years. I should have had the evidence. They sent me a letter. It didn't comply with their vexatiousness policy. It's supposed to be reviewed. It hasn't been reviewed. I'm permanently on a vexatious list. It's supposed to be reviewed every 6 months. I'm supposed to be told when it's reviewed and what action's been taken, according to their policy. I've got their flowchart. They haven't done anything. They've seen me as an annoying person, and they'd rather me dead. Now I don't say this lightly. The reason I think Barker and Dagenham are trying to kill me is because I keep complaining about, I've got no income, remember. So I keep having to harass social services about a food voucher. I'm supposed to get one every 3 days. In 3 weeks, I'm on my 3rd one tomorrow. So you work it out. I'm 3 behind as of today. And when I contacted social services today, I said, why am I getting such grief trying to get a food voucher? Oh, well, you'll have to take that up with your social worker. Oh, well done, Steve and Chris, you know. Great boys. I mean, normally I'd put a complaint in, but I know they're not going to deal with it. I've even asked on my email how Chris could possibly justify putting a complaint in, a formal complaint through the normal procedures and through the normal policies, how they could justify me not complaining about Steve's email when they normally turn it down because I've suffered no harm. I was anxious for 90 minutes. Suffered angst, not what normal people say, oh, I was anxious. He wasn't anxious, he was nervous. There's difference. Nervous is, you know, the unknown. Apprehension is nervousness. Anxiety is off the wall. It's on a different scale. When you get anxiety attack, that's it. Your mind just goes all focused on that one thing. And it's like, well, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? What's going to happen? Every time they threaten to take further action. Because they want to do me for harassment. I know they do. But I've done nothing legally wrong. I've got so much evidence to say I'm not well. I can get statements from my neighbours, statements from my friends, statements from the GP surgery that I go to. Because they've seen me bad. They've seen me recently. I've spoken to the practice manager at my local GP surgery. And this was only about a week ago, and I was not well then. I'm not well now. And she would, if I asked her nicely, she would give me some sort of statement. I know she would, because she's a nice person. I've had a few run-ins with her, but I think that's mostly because of my Asperger's and my anxiety. I just get frustrated quite easily. So, I've got a food voucher to pick up tomorrow. I will ask them when I pick the food voucher up why I'm only getting one a week instead of the 2. And I know they're going to say, oh well, we don't know because we're not in that department. But I will ask anyway, because no one else in the council are answering my questions. So I've got a lot of work to do for the next few days. So there might not be another video for a few days until Monday. I've got a report back tomorrow on the progress of the possible exchange, which will help my health considerably. But unfortunately for the council, if it does go through, it will give me more time to concentrate on the discrimination that I've suffered for at least 4 years. Vexatiousness is... I can understand vexatiousness, but if you dig into the reason I was put on in the first place, and this is only guesswork because I haven't been told what the reason is. The reason I think is because when I put a question in, it comes down to questions at the end of the day, not complaints. Because I asked about the phone system, and it went on for several weeks, this email about the phone system, because when they only half answer a question, I have to email back to clarify what the answer was. I don't deal with many people, apart from a few recently. Customer services, Sandra, Emma in some relationship manager, and one or two others which I've put comments in. That's another thing. When you do want to compliment someone, the website for Barking and Dagenham is atrocious. You get an email from someone and you think, oh, they've done really well, or you get someone's name and you ask them what department and you think, oh, I'll give them a compliment. You go to the Barking and Dagenham website, there's a drop down list of about 25 different areas you can put a comment in. And twice so far, the people I've tried to compliment aren't actually on the list. The first one, I spoke to the manager. I got through to someone in the managers, in the customer services section, and they said they were going to put it in anyway on my behalf. Which they did, because I think they copied me on the email. The second one, I just put it into the nearest department I could find. I don't think it was the right department, but it was guesswork. So I had to put what department she was in. It's atrocious. Why can't they just have an email where you can just send an email in? It would be so much easier than a web form that is hardly ever updated. Because let's face it, if they still have incorrect details about the phone number on the emails and the LGMO, because even when I spoke to someone recently, a couple of days ago, I was talking about this to someone, and they had a look on the Barking and Dagenham website and they could not see for love nor money what the LGMO was. David was just down as a contact for something related to the LGMO, but he wasn't specifically down there as the LGMO. So you go to the London Council's website, it's all there. I'll put a link down below for the London Council's website. Top website, easiest to use. You want to find someone in your council? It's there. Look at the London Council's website first. I don't know what the other councils run like. Probably a lot better than Barking and Dagenham. But look at the London Council's one. That is updated. Why they update that one and not their own one, I don't know, but hey. So, I'll get another dose of food voucher stuff tomorrow. I'm going to ask them not for any more pulled pork, because that is disgusting. It comes in like a ham tin, one of those sort of like almost egg-shaped things. And it is, I mean, I'd rather have anchovies in a tin than pulled pork. It would be less salty. So, hopefully no pulled pork tomorrow. I'll ask them, but they'll probably end up putting it in. I'll keep asking for food for Merlin, the cat. And in 2 weeks, they've given me 2 tins of food for the poor creature. I don't know. I really don't know. So hopefully the council don't kill me. Hopefully they will sit up and listen. And hopefully I will be compensated for at least 4 years of grief. So, I mean, I talk about compensation, but I've asked for, just an apology for having floorboards up for 8 years. When I kept saying, can you come and repair them? Because they half finished the job about installing radiators, and they all left site, and for 8 years they wouldn't come round and repair the floorboards. As it was, the guys that came round to repair the floorboards not only didn't apologise for it, but as I believed they would do, they just bodged the job. They put electrical cables underneath the hot water pipes, which you're not supposed to do. It's against regulations. There's no insulation. God forbid what happens when because you have to turn the boiler right up to get any heat in this place. So those pipes are getting red hot, not literally, but they're up to about 70 degrees. What's the electrical cable going to do with prolonged activity over the winter with that sort of heat on them? It's not going to be good. But no one comes round and checks. This is the thing. I thought there was supposed to be supervisors for this sort of work. No, they just have some bodger to come out. Oh, put the bloody thing in because Gibbons is complaining. Well, I complained for 24 years to get electrical insulation or electrical rewire. 24 years ago I said it was not safe. They ignored me. They treated me like a fool. I had 3 inspections in the end because the council kept losing the external paperwork. Oh, what a coincidence. And the 3rd inspection took a long time because I kept refusing to let them in. Because they've got 2 inspections. I phoned up T Brown and I said, well, why can't they just get the paperwork from you? And T Brown said, no reason at all they've got to do is give us a ring and give us your address and we'll fax it over to them. No, they had to have a 3rd inspection by T Brown. So not only more public money wasted when they could have got a fax for free, they wasted my time and T Brown's time. Okay, T Brown got charged for it, or charged back to the council. It's basically wasting my time and public money. The council, when it comes to me, at least, I've got documentary evidence they're wasting public money. And they don't care. At least they don't answer the emails. Fiona has got till. She's got under 12 hours now. Because if Fiona, the local government monitoring officer, does not respond to me by noon today, then I will assume that not only is she treating me vexatiously in accordance with the council's policy, she is also not fulfilling the role of her job correctly. Because technically, according to the Act, and I keep quoting the Act, I've quoted Acts for years to this council, and they think I'm an idiot. Thank you. Last time I was measured, IQ 122. Thank you. Who's the idiot? Which is why I'm not going into detail. But her job under the Act is to investigate and correct any impropriety. She is supposed to be acting as an external agent that is paid for by the council but is not controlled by the council. That is her job under law. And if she's taking direct instructions from the Chief Executive's office, because that's who corporate complaints will report to, at least it was last time I checked this structure. Might have changed, but last time I checked was about 3 months ago. Then she is not fulfilling her job. But hey, how many people in the council are? I've come across 3 so far that are actually doing what they're supposed to. 2 great customer services people. I'm sorry, whoever it was, but whoever Sandra put me through to, she was cracking as well, but I can find out. And so far, Emma Sanders, because every time she calls me, it's always on time. She's always polite. She's always apologising for me breaking into tears every time she calls me. Because just the very thought of being stuck with the council brings me to tears. And all the council really want to do is get me off bed sit, which would not really help me mentally. One, I do need people with me. Not all the time, but a lot of the time I have to have someone here. I mean, let's face it, last Christmas I got 2 strangers in. One for Christmas, one for New Year's Eve. Couldn't stand it. Me and my ex weren't really talking very much at that time. But we're back on terms and she's down as my carer. So, let's see where things go. Anyway, sorry for the rant. Thank you for watching. Fingers crossed, I'll have some better news for you in a few days' time. And let's see how it all pans out in the next few weeks. I've played the long game. I mean, what phrase sums it up? Another Star Trek phrase. I mean, it's all out of Shakespeare. Can't stand Shakespeare. But he comes up with some cracking one-liners, I will, on the quiet. I think it would have to be cry God for Harry, England and St George. Never give up. There's always hope as long as you keep your head. And don't do anything really criminal. Anyway, thanks for watching. Speak to you later.